Okay, it's Yvonne back to do your bonus reading. We're going to use the Gilded Tarot Royale here for your reading. It's a beautiful deck. I feel like some of you here are being, I've got the Chariot jumping out at me here. So the Chariot talks about forward movement, but sometimes we can have things that are not quite balanced in our lives, and it means that Chariot gets stuck. It can't go anywhere. So it's only forward moving when everything is in balance. I was going to say to you, if you're having trouble shifting your energy, if you're having trouble trying to move things forward, sometimes it's the time to do some cleaning in your life. Now, we all sort of think of the mental clearing, and I feel that that is where you need to be. But sometimes if you can't clear yourself mentally, it's worthwhile cleaning something in your house, like turning out your old stuff, clearing out your wardrobe, throwing out things that you don't need any longer. Because sometimes when we shift things around in our physical space, we shift things around in our mental space. I'm pretty sure that the reason being is I'm learning so much as I go along. If your head is clear, then it leaves much more room for you to fill it with things that are more positive. So if you're thinking negatively, so for example, you're waiting on something to happen and you're full of energy and your mind's going like this because you're waiting. So you're sitting around waiting because your mind is making you tired because it's constantly sort of going around. When you're tired like that, then you're starting to think a lot. You're making yourself more tired. And in the end, you become exhausted just from a lot of thinking. So if you take yourself out of your mind and find other things to do, that generally shifts you. But if you're sitting thinking, then you become very much stuck in that, what they call overanalysis paralysis. And I feel what you can do is very often, I mean, if you've got a garden that's really messy, you could get out and garden. If your house is really messy, if you want to clean your wardrobes, if you want to do something, because while you're doing that, you're not thinking. And it's the same as walking. It is very, very difficult to get into a real negative slump when you're doing things. Your mind can't do it. It needs to focus on what you're doing. So it might sort of get off and start thinking about things, but if you up the ante, it doesn't have a place in your head. So that's why we say to people, keep busy when you're feeling sad about something or unhappy about something. But what is really, really good is actually focusing on something that helps you to grow mentally in a healthy way, like painting, writing. Sometimes reading can do that, but it's harder to focus on reading when you're in that energy. All right, let's have a look and see where you're going for your bonus read. Okay, so I have the King of Cups coming out. Interesting when the Chariot came out to start with, both strong Cancer energy. The King of Cups represents the water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. As an energy, the King of Cups is someone who, obviously a king status is at the top of their game. This is a person who has a lot of feelings, wants to offer love, but this is someone who's far more composed. They're not over the top and more gushy like the Queen, who's very open with their emotions. This is someone who's learned to temper their emotion. It's a person who's not overly affected by their emotion. Some people see that as cold. It's just that the King has learned to work with that. This person doesn't need to be gushy. They know how to express themselves, but not in a gushy way. Somebody is feeling really depleted and low here. There's a sadness here. Somebody feels left out in the cold. You could have left somebody out in the cold. You could be this representation of the King of Cups, and you may feel like you've been left out in the cold by someone. But there's an energy here. The Five of Pentacles is, I mean, you see the light shining down from the window, and it's quite beautiful in this card how much light is coming from that window. And it's very often this energy of us feeling left out in the cold, but the universe is saying it's just an illusion. You're not left out in the cold at all. there's so much around you. There's a big spirit team supporting you. You have people around you, and you have places you can go to if you're feeling like you are disconnected. But this is about feeling low, but connecting to your spirituality and understanding there's far greater things going on rather than focusing on this being left out in the cold. So in the traditional card of course, what we see is we see a church where people are sitting outside, but the church, this is the outside of the church, and it's like this is the energy of come into the church. It's warm, there's people here, there's things going on, but yet you still feel like you've been left out in the cold. I feel like someone's cut you off here. I feel like someone's cut you off and you have no idea what's happening here. And the Death card is here as well. There's a few major arcanas coming through and a lot of repeat cards from the What's Cracking. So maybe we'll get a little bit deeper on this. So I feel like somebody's left you out in the cold here. Maybe that's what you're focusing on because you feel cut off, but you're not trusting your intuition here, which is sort of this energy here. I've been left out in the cold. I don't know what's going on. I can't see what's going on because I'm on the outside. I'm focused on being left out in the cold. I'm so focused on my sadness that I'm not seeing there's answers here. Okay, all right, so you feel that you've been left out in the cold. Nothing that you know, nothing is happening here. You feel like you are completely shrouded in secrecy here with the High Priestess. Your thinking has to change. Your thinking has to change. You are focused on the negative here. Because you can't see something happening doesn't mean something is not happening. You are focused on the energy of the Five of Pentacles. And the universe is saying to you, the Five of Pentacles shows you the answers, but you're not focusing on that. You're focusing on the negative aspect. Let me just get into this a little bit more. Because I feel like you're missing something here, something that needs to be changed. You're seeing something from the wrong perspective. You're focused on the negative aspect, not the positive aspect. This card shows two people who are on the outside, cold, lonely, sad. But yet, inside the church is a thriving community. Now, if you think of this metaphorically rather than literally, or more spiritually than logically, maybe you need to understand that it's your way of thinking rather than the actual situation that has to change. Because the Death card is here. Let me keep going. Six of Pentacles says to me that the universe is creating something here. But because you're not seeing it, you're feeling like you've been left out in the cold. Five of Swords, Four of Cups, and that's made you very dissatisfied with everything else here. But look, there is love here, and there is certainly some change coming through with the Wheel of Fortune. There is something you are focused on that needs to change, some way of thinking, some perception that you have that's skewed. So is your perception always to look on the darker side rather than to focus on the lighter side? I see it in action sometimes. I see it in action sometimes when people say things and I think, are you not hearing what you're saying? You need to observe the way you act because you're not seeing that you have the answers here. You're just seeing the problem. Are you focused on the problem and not the solution? Let's have a look at what's going on here. I feel like this one's really deep. Okay, here we go. Five of Cups energy. So this guy here, you see he's really sad. Why is he sad? Because the Three Cups in front of him have spilt. Which means that he's sad because he's focusing on what he's spilt here and what he doesn't have. But you see right behind him, there are 2 cups here that are filled. And it's almost like you are so focused on the sad stuff or so preoccupied with what is in front of you here that you're not even looking behind you to see what's here. And I know we talk about this card being, focused on the past, that you're not looking to the future. And maybe that's what you need to change. So you're focused maybe on your disappointments, or you're focused on the things that have gone wrong. You're focused on being left out in the cold, but you're not seeing that something is happening here because you're not looking for that. You're not even turning around for that. You're just focused on this. All right, getting in deep diving. Oh, okay. We have the Devil card. There we go. Look at this. The Strength card and the Emperor. Take your power back. You are giving away your power here. You're giving your power away. And this is about you taking your power back with the Emperor here. The Strength card tells me it's something you've learned to do a certain way. And you are not listening. The universe is trying to show you. It's trying to show you what's going on here. It is trying to say to you, there is more for you. But you are so focused on this negativity that you are not seeing what is here. This is codependency. Shadow work, major arcanas. Shadow work, something still in the shadow that's refusing to budge. I often ask myself, what triggers me? What are the triggers I have? What are the things that trigger me that I need to understand? Why do certain things trigger me? For me to understand what upsets me, what grinds me, what makes me uncomfortable. Because when it happens and I start to feel triggered by something, I think, what is it about that situation that makes me feel uncomfortable? There is something still codependent here that hasn't been resolved. You are still hanging on to something through your codependency. And I feel like here it's something to do with love or a person or something here from your past that you are still wanting, needing, desiring, that you need to let go of. Because you're still showing codependency here. Now for some of you, it could be about hanging on to something. The Devil card is really, it's like you're still locked into something from your past. You're still chained to something from your past here. This is very similar to the What's Cracking reading energy, but I feel like we're digging deeper here. There is something that is holding you back because you're still clinging to it. Whether that's an idea, a situation, a lost love, a person, it doesn't matter. Something is keeping you locked in this energy, and I feel like it's strongly codependent energy. Still this energy of, if I can't have this, then I can't move further. If I can't see a result, I can't go forward. If I don't have this, if I don't have this love, if I don't have this job, if I don't have these things, then I can't look around and see what's in front of me. Something here you're still hanging on to. You're still giving your power away to the past. You're still giving your power to some sort of past way of thinking or doing that is no longer serving you here. Change needs to occur because you need to move forward. Okay, there we go. Mental anxiety. We have Temperance talking about balance. I heard another reader say yesterday that the Temperance card keeps coming out a lot. Somehow or another we're having trouble balancing ourselves. Mind, body, soul. It's really interesting because I look at it too, and when you've had your heart broken or you feel that you've lost something that was really important to you, you tend to throw everything at the next thing that comes along, and therefore you often put yourself out of balance again. So for example, You know, if you're hurting and you're trying to distract yourself, you start throwing yourself into your work, or you start throwing yourself into seedy relationships, or you start throwing yourself into something that distracts you. But in effect, what you're doing is taking the balance from one area and putting it in another area, which still means you're out of balance. So how do you get yourself into balance? How do you bring yourself into this balanced energy? Because there is a need for you to let go of some sort of stress, overthinking. It's almost like in this card I feel some sort of desperation. It could also be something like your energy, your fear of failure. It could be a fear of losing. It could be the fear of not being loved. It could be something to do with that being left out in the cold. The fear of not knowing. There is something here that frightens you at a much deeper level. And with this Devil card here, I'm feeling strong codependency. So do you have a belief that if you can't attain something, then somehow you've failed? Or if you can't get something that you want, or you're so desperate for, that somehow or another you are feeling like you've been ripped off or done poorly by? When in reality the answers are not about that at all? Are you blaming yourself for something that's gone wrong in the past and you're still holding that blame? Something here is totally out of balance. Let's see where we're going. All right, so I have the Hierophant, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Magician. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is why you're giving your power away. Because somehow you think because you haven't got something, or you haven't achieved something, or you haven't gone somewhere, that it means that you're not a good person and you don't deserve it. This is really emotional, this reading. It's like the simplest thing happens and all of a sudden you've got this catastrophic way of thinking that this little thing has happened here, but yet it means something really big here. So if somebody's denied you love, does it mean you're unlovable? If somebody's let you down, does it make you feel that you're undesirable or that you are not worth it? Are you measuring something in an imbalanced way here? Because I feel like this is what the Temperance card is trying to tell us. Because you failed at a job interview, do you feel that you'll never get a job in that area? Why are you going from this tiny little seed into this great big idea? Why are you taking yourself down that path? Because somebody here let you down, does it mean that you're not worthy of it? No. Why are you dragging yourself down to the depths because something did not go your way? Because here, what I see is your ability to take back that power. Why are you giving your power to somebody else, to something else, to a situation, by feeling that it is the worst possible thing that could have happened to you? Because this to me is really this energy. Look at all these major arcanas. This is all major arcana. Now somebody said to me the other day, what do major arcanas mean? These are big lessons from the universe. This is the universe stepping in here because you're not understanding something. The minor arcana say that you have some sort of input here. You have some sort of ability to change something. And I feel like here it's the way you think. You're catastrophically thinking. It's like you're pulling yourself down to something small because somebody else let you down. That to me is this devil energy. So if somebody rings up and says, I can't make today, it would have been lovely to catch up, but I can't get there. So you get off the phone and immediately run to, I wonder what I did wrong. I wonder what I said. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they don't want to be around me. Maybe I'm not worth it. Maybe I'm just not a nice person. And that's where you end up. And in reality, this person just couldn't make the appointment. But you're going, this is where your thoughts and things are out of balance. It's something to do with your shadow. Maybe something when you were young that you were told. You know, we always talk about you'll never achieve that. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never be what you want to be. Who would love you? You're not lovable. And somehow or another, this is the energy here that you're pulling into yourself. It's out of balance. It doesn't match what we're seeing here. You are focused on all of this spillage, not what's behind you here. Why are you focused on all the things you can't be when you're not looking at all the things you could be? Because this is what it's doing. It's going round and round in your head at night, in the day. You keep telling yourself you're not worthy. But in reality, you may not have had any control over the spilt cups. But yet you are punishing yourself. I'm finally understanding why it keeps coming through in this energy. This is the balance. It's not a balance of body, mind and soul. It's the way you think about things. Something goes wrong and you deeply go to the wrong end and you take yourself to this place where you are blaming who you are rather than just seeing it as a situation. Look at this. And straight to the owl too. I love it. Okay, listen carefully. The owl is the master of the night. She can see situations with perfect clarity, more so when it is dark, and she is able to discern truth when others are sightless. Shadow. You're able to see your shadow. She helps you find your light and your lightness in the darkest moments of your life and to embrace the night as your ally. Owl can bring you messages from the invisible world. She opens your ears so that you can hear your voices, the voices of your ancestors, and you may acquire their wisdom and make it your own. Look around you, notice every detail. See, I always say be the observer. And find the hidden messages brought to you by Owl. Do not shoot the messenger. Be grateful to the friend who shows you what you have not wanted to see until now. Observe all the facets of the diamond without judgment. Remember that the facets you dislike are often mirrors of the parts of you that you do not want to recognize. Do not be afraid of the truth, as it will become your compass. Oh, let's just read the medicine here. Owl guards against self-deception, and insists that your motives be pure and transparent to all. What is the message that you are not hearing? The situation you are not seeing with clarity. Owl invites you to wait patiently. Bide your time until it is right to act. Then do so decisively with no hesitation or remorse. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.